Hey, so today I really have just been in a weird place because I can sort of feel myself begin to brace for tomorrow, and I am not really sure how tomorrow is going to go. I'm trying to stay as present as possible, but there's just been this wave of grey emotion. And when I say like grey emotion, as it's not as intense as like the heavier, more dense emotion, but it's not quite neutral. There is some, it's not sad. Like, I'm not sad, I'm just in deep thought about just the last 10 years. And I went back into the baby loss comfort experience with the Riding the Waves of Grief ebook. And I realized that part of what I'm feeling, and I'm still going to just allow myself to be in this energy for the rest of the day, as in like just processing this wave that I'm in at the moment. And it appears that I've kind of shifted from the anger wave, and now I'm feeling into the bargaining wave of grief. And this all comes from me thinking that there must have been something wrong that I did. And there are a lot of thoughts that still come up. They're not as intense, but they're still there. They're still there nonetheless. And that imprint is still having an impact on me, even if it's not to the point now where I feel as though crying would make me feel better. And again, it's not something to where I would say like, oh, when I get to this stage I can never cry. I have to hold it together. No, I've always said that December especially will be the month where there's very little expectation around how I show up, and I make very little promises because of I how I know I felt in the past. I don't want to let others down, but more importantly, I don't want to let myself down. So I just don't make those commitments because, on top of the emotional side of things, the physical pain from like being stressed out and trying to mask and be somebody I'm not, that's that's not brilliant at the best of times. So now it's even more important for me to just be present, because for the most for the rest of the year, every month out of the year, I'm focused on other people. December is where I focus on me and my grief. I try to see where I need support the most, and on some days I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what it feels like. I often feel like I need something, but that something isn't inherently clear. So with me trying to figure out where my support needs need to be met on certain days and in certain moments, I feel very conflicted because I'm like, okay, well, I've got time, I have the spaciousness, yet the answers aren't being shown or they're not coming up at all. And I know that previously there's been a lot of frustration around that, but this time around, I have just let it exist. Like, if nothing comes up, I'm just like, oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine. I can just try to do something to take my mind off of the fact that I don't know right now what it is that I want. So I just focus on things that I can do to occupy my mind until that signal, that voice is a little bit louder, that inner voice is a little bit louder, so that I'm like, oh, okay, this is the thing that I need right now to make myself feel a little bit better. And it's not to say that by doing these things, I will automatically feel happy and I'm smiling and I'm all good. No, it's more to reinforce that my needs matter, I matter, I'm here for a reason. And in order for me to continue to share my experience with you and to help support my community in a way that helps me to help you in the future, for whenever you're hearing and experiencing these audios, that's the sort of that's the headspace that I'm in at the moment. It's how can how I'm feeling help somebody who'll listen to this in the future. And again, this is me kind of thinking in the future, but the decision of how to talk about it, when to talk about it, it's very present, and I am in my body and really thinking about what feels safe. And I've said this as I've been speaking through this experience and kind of just narrating and documenting how I'm feeling and processing a lot of this. And with the way that I share how I'm feeling normally, that varies too. And I'm thinking, well, why can't this be any different? Like, I don't have to have everything figured out all the time. And when I do kind of get answers, I don't need to polish them and make sure that I don't show the humanness behind the brand, because I'm me. I'm just me. But I also understand that there are people who look at me and what I do, and they are amazed at how I do so much. And to that, I just say, well, I have no choice. I have no choice. And it's picking the, not, I'm not going to say struggle, but picking the thing that is going to make things as enjoyable for you, with the caveat that there are going to be days that are difficult. There are going to be days that are hard. There are going to be days that make you not want to do certain things. But when you zoom out and you actually think, hang on, how is this going to support me in the future? Looking at that forward thinking part of your vision. And this is with anything. This is not just with how you actually connect and relate to yourself and your experience from a different perspective. It might be a week from when it happened. It might be a couple of days. It could be a couple of hours from when the experience happened. But the main part is that you come first, because wherever you are in life, it doesn't matter what is happening outside of you. Making sure that you're okay means that you can show up in the ways that you want to and need to for those that you care about, because you're in a position to where if you aren't looking after yourself, how can you effectively look after and support the others in your life, whether it's personally or professionally, like in business? There are so many reasons as to why my experience with baby loss had this element of I could have, I didn't, and it was all to do with how disconnected I was to my body and my intuition. But it's not just that part of it, because when I kind of go deeper into it, the hardest part about all of this was how the prolonged stress, because I was focused on everybody else, and I was making sure that everybody else around me was happy when I was going through so much. And all of this just meant that I'd lost sight of who I was in that process. And because I was so disconnected from my body, my mind, my intuition, there's a lot of guilt and I should have, I could have, why didn't I? questions that are coming up, they still come up, and that also propels into my future as well, because up to this point, the reality that I had, the reality that I had wanted, the reality I still want, isn't yet my reality. And right now, there are layers to this, because yes, this is processing through that particular baby loss experience. And the bargaining of why can't I, why didn't I, why haven't I, it's kind of like combining the past, my the past, my present moment, and also what's unfolding in the future. But I feel like these questions are deeply woven, but through the Riding the Waves of Grief ebook. And just to let you know, the ebook is not the only part of the experience. This is just such a tiny, tiny fractal of the whole experience, and it's amazing. But what I wasn't ready for was how today it's all just kind of like appeared in front of me, and like when I'm trying to just see which parts of my life certain questions relate to, it's just like, oh no, it's not the past version of you and that baby loss experience, then that door closes, and then you've got the present version of you as you are right now, as I'm recording this podcast episode, and then there's a door that kind of shuts off that present version of me, and then there's the future version of me that has the starts at the doorway of my present self, and then there's no sort of like doorway shutting off the future. It's just an endless cycle of possibility. Like, it's not that, it's all very much like all the doors have come away. So my past self, my current self, and my future self, they are all in the same space. And with the visualization that is dropping into my body as I'm talking, it's all to do with my past self, my current self, and future self. We're all in the same room together. Now, I'm obviously talking now, but from a spiritual perspective, there are a bunch of conversations that are happening that I can't hear. I can't hear them. And that's because I have personally like set up a situation with my spirit guides and just the different versions of myself that have kind of helped carry me through life, like my inner child and everything. All of those versions of me, like the current self and higher self or future self, they all have conversations that help me know what the next thing is, because I'm like guided by my spirit guides. And the way that I feel into this is like, if I'm not meant to know something, I don't hear it, because I do get spiritual signals that certain certain bits of my intuition kind of help me with what's next. And yeah, I have already set that intention to allow those conversations to happen while I'm not while I'm present, but not like actively listening to what's going on. And I might try and see if I can access that information in meditation a little bit later. But for right now and how my body is feeling, I feel very open, like through actually being able to talk about my experience and not being scared of the outcome. I have just allowed myself to connect with what is true for me. And with today's exercises, I have been incorporating breath, and then also including sound, because I have really been connecting with one of the soundtracks that I absolutely love. I created this right at the start of my YouTube channel and just like professional creative journey, and it's called emotional processing, and it's quite a short one, and I'm going to release the longer version. But this soundtrack is just such a beautiful one because of how I put it together. And I really wanted to capture how I was feeling at the moment. And I wanted to like bring my emotions into it. And the at the time that I was creating, I remember that there was this element of me not really being able to put a name to emotions. So that's where I created a lot of my music and my soundscapes to express and have an outlet for my creativity, and also just how I was feeling in that moment. And it still is therapy for me. It is still therapeutic. I go and like put on my noise cancelling headphones and you won't hear from me for a little while, because I am so in my element. I'm in my bubble. And because I really want others to feel into this world that I'm creating and sharing with you, the emotional processing soundtrack is just it's such a beautiful piece. And I'm here now, and I will be including a very special link to a soundtrack that I created in memory of my little girl. And there's also a disclaimer and a little no, not a disclaimer, a note from my connection and spiritual conversation with my spirit baby in the stars. So, yeah, I feel like now is the time that should I should add that, and I definitely will, because I remember that there was a part in the section before the actual meditation began. It's called Reconnecting with Your Spirit Baby, guided meditation. So there was a part where I said, like, I can't really find the words to speak about this right now. I can't really say what I want to say, but in time I will. And because it's become a bit of a full circle moment with me talking openly about it, yeah, I feel like right now is it's the best time, because if not now, when? Um, so yeah, I'll make sure to put 3 soundtracks in the description for you to access. And so what I'll do is I'll make sure that there's the guided meditation, then the instrumental version, as well as the so that's the reconnecting with your spirit baby soundtrack, and then the instrumental version as well, and then the emotional processing one, because that is something that can help you with releasing the shame and the guilt around your baby loss experience, and coming back to a place where your body feels safe to exist in, rather than you trying to constantly escape your body because it feels unsafe. There are a lot of emotions that are coming up that don't feel okay for you to sit with, move through, just process in your own way. Now, with each of these soundtracks and sound experiences, I don't want this to feel like something that you have to stay sat in one place for and through. I want you to actually feel really connected to what is going on around you. So I invite you to, like, if you get the nudge to move, dance, journal, please feel free to do so. Yeah, because if you feel like you want to lie down, if you're sat up at one point and you feel like you want to lie down, feel free to do that. If you're lying down and you feel like you want to sit up, also feel free to do that as well. Yeah, I think right now I have emptied my brain of all the things that I wanted to share about that. And yeah, I just want this to feel a little bit more hopeful. So yeah, like, I had a little bit of a wobble towards the end there, but the wobble is necessary. It's okay. And wobbly things are fun, right? So, I love this so much. I am here always. If you come across this and you would like to talk, I'm here. Yeah, whenever you hear this and experience it, I'm here. So I am just I'm just being in my energy for a minute, just to check and see if there's anything coming up. And right now there isn't. So thank you ever so much for spending time with me today. Until next time, I will see you soon.